go. All right, so I'm going to go to the wheel here, and immediately there's a random button, so I'm going to shuffle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times. And then I'm going to hit random. Here we go. Boom. What are we getting? Spirit Tracks, number 1.
Spirit Tracks.
Spirit Tracks is number 1.
Can you remove it
Yeah.
from the wheel?
Yeah, it's dead. Spirit Tracks. Where is Spirit Tracks on this? Aha. All right.
All right. So
how do you feel about Spirit Tracks?
I liked Spirit Tracks.
Okay.
Because I liked Spirit Tracks, I am not willing to give it a F or a D.
Okay.
That being said, it was not one of the all-time greats.
For sure.
It also has to live up to Phantom Hourglass.
It does.
And Phantom Hourglass, in my opinion, is a better game.
I agree.
So I think Spirit Tracks is a C tier for average.
Okay. I liked Spirit Tracks as well. That being said, I do think it was probably on the lower end of good games. I don't know that I would call it good. It's an okay game. Playable. It's playable. So for me, it's going to go in D tier.
D tier.
It's the first one in D. You know, it's not F tier. It's not, absolute garbage. But it's probably on the lower bottom of the playable ones.
Okay.
Fair
enough.
Let's do it.
I like
Next.
how we're making different tier lists, but this is nice.
I know, right? Immediately, just instantly, it's a difference. Wow! Whoa! We're gonna hit this instantly, huh? Wow! Okay. Wow! All right. Where are we putting Ocarina, boys?
Why don't you go ahead since you have actually finished the game?
Okay.
Also, I started us off with Spirit Tracks, so it's only fair for you to do the next one.
Fair enough. And also, you could leave me with the big boy one, right?
I mean, I don't mind going first.
I will put Ocarina in knowing everything about it, its functionality, and everything about it. I'm going to put Ocarina immediately into S tier.
There you go.
Just straight up. Immediately into S tier.
I don't think you even need to justify why you feel that way.
I don't. I mean, I can, and I will, but I don't have to. The dungeons were fantastic. The music was fantastic. The first 3D Zelda game of all time. Huge milestone in video game industry, period. The music was fantastic. Koji Kondo did a great job in this one. I got to ride around on a horse. I mean, that's huge in a Nintendo 64 game. Right? I got to ride the first game with it ever with a day-night cycle. Like, it's monumental to the gaming industry. It's also a fantastic Zelda game. So it's going right into S tier. It's your turn. Uh-oh. I see you moving, but I think we've lost. I can't hear you. Nope. Oh, I heard a little something. Keep wiggling. You'll get it. Crap. Keep wiggling. We'll get it. Uh-oh. We are in trouble. Yeah, we are in trouble. We are in trouble right now. Oh, did your headphones just like die? Like, are they dead? No. Okay, that's good. At least. I can hear you without issue. Okay, that's good. But your microphone isn't working, which is bad. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm running to plan B. I'm instantly running to plan B.
Hi.
Hi, I ran to plan B.
Alright, you're on plan B.
Alright, we're rocking plan B.
Alright,
So, you go ahead.
Alright, I turned off my microphone and I muted you on Discord, so.
Okay. I can also take off my headphones then.
There you go. I suppose I can too.
Yep.
Yeah, what the heck? I'll just take them. I'll unplug them from the computer.
There you go. Kill them.
Yeah, damn, dude. Like, literally, these Turtle Beaches I've had since Black Ops 3 days.
Man, that's a long time.
They have served. It's time to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time.
So, I am going to rank this an A-tier game.
Okay.
That, I already know, is going to be a little controversial.
For sure.
I'm going to explain what's going on. First things first, I have not finished the game. So, I can't reliably give an S tier if I haven't beaten the game. That being said, there is a case to be made that I don't need to, that this game is so monumental to the industry, that it's so good to the industry, that it has earned its spot as an S tier, even if it has not been finished.
Fair.
Totally valid.
Fair.
Totally valid line of thinking. In playing this game, I have had some problems with the game that we have run into on stream. The first most obvious one that I can think of is that one thing where you're trying to ride around Hyrule Field with the horse to collect Pose.
Oh, yeah.
What a ridiculous... I do not like that.
Legitimately the worst thing in the entire game.
Yeah, annoying.
Yeah, it's legitimately the worst thing in the entire game.
Yeah. Now, this game is a lot more fresh to me than Spirit Tracks was, so if Spirit Tracks has any sins in it like that, I am not aware of them, so maybe I'm being too harsh to Ocarina here. The other issues that I have with it is that it's hard for me to know, even as a grown adult, it is hard for me to know what is interactable and what is not interactable. Now, they sort that out later in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword and all the games afterwards. They make it really obvious. These are things you can... This is a Switch. This is what a Switch looks like. This is how you press the Switch or interact with the Switch. This is how you deal with the Switch. They make it really obvious in the later games. And for good reason. But in this game struggles, or at least I struggled, to know what the heck a Switch was, what was interactable and what wasn't interactable. You may remember at the end of the Forest Temple how I sat in a room for an hour.
Yeah, I sure do.
Trying to figure out what the heck to do, only to realize that there was a pillar that you could push and pull.
Yeah.
And even though I walked up to the pillar on at least one occasion, but there was no handrail.
Correct. There wasn't.
In later games, you have a handrail or you have a chain link that you can pick up.
Right. Yeah, something.
Yeah.
But no, you sure don't. Not in there.
Yeah, and in later games, even if it doesn't look quite like a standard push-pull object, there is a sound cue that helps as well. So, for example, in Twilight Princess, if you're in Arbiter's Grounds, there's these wings on these like cylinder shaped pedestals, and you can push them around to kind of go in a circle, and that can open doors and close hallways and that kind of thing. Even they don't really look like pushable objects. I mean, they kind of do, but I could forgive somebody if they said it doesn't look like a pushable object to me. But if you walk up to that thing, it'll come up with a button press on the bottom. It will like say A, push, and then it'll make a sound. It'll be like a bink.
Yes, I know exactly what sound you're talking about.
Yeah, and Ocarina of Time does not have that quality of life whatsoever.
Correct.
So, when it showed up that you could push like word on the top of the screen, it looks no different from roll or from talk to Navi. Well, I mean, I guess Navi's fine. Or put away. It looks exactly the same. The animation is the same, and there's no sound. There's nothing. So I really struggle to know what can I interact with and what is just part of the game world.
Right.
And so that was a problem that plagued games from this era. They've kind of fixed that problem starting around the era of the Xbox 360 and Xbox, like the OG Xbox, and the PlayStation 3. Right around that era, they kind of solved that issue. The Wii and the GameCube solved that issue, but like this game had that problem, and the PS2 games of that era also had that problem. I mean, I tried to play a PS2 game last year, and I couldn't do it because I was like, oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in regards to Ocarina of Time, that game has some user interface that I really struggled to pick up. And to me, user interface is not really part of a game. I mean, obviously it is part of a game. But, like, I'm not playing Ocarina of Time
for the UI?
for the UI. Yeah, and I'm not playing Breath of the Wild for the UI either. I'm playing... The UI of Breath of the Wild is just there to help me play the game.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time's UI is there to stop me from playing the game. So, yeah. So, in fact, I would argue that Forest Temple part where I got stuck, literally the whole puzzle of trying to push that cylinder thing around was trying to figure out how do you push the cylinder around in a way that gets you access to certain areas that were locked behind the metal bars using this system. The puzzle was not figure out how to use the system. The system was figure out how to maneuver such that you can access certain areas. You see that there's a difference there?
Yes.
It's like saying, in order to win the race, you have to run fast. It's not, in order to win the race, you have to tie your shoes. That's what that felt like. So I'm going to give this an A tier game. It's great. The lore is great. The music is great. The items are great. But there are some things that I'm like, oh boy, as a seasoned post-2010 video game player, going back to this era, I really struggled.
It was rough.
It was rough. And of course, I didn't even do the water temple. And I'm sure if I had done the water temple by the time we've done this tier list, this would be way lower.
Okay. All right.
Shall we?
Next on the list, we have...
Do you want me to start this one?
Yeah. Okay, we have Tingle's Balloon Fight. Alright, what are your opinions on Tingle's Balloon Fight?
I haven't played it.
You know what? I also haven't played it.
Alright, let's do another one.
Next. What are your
We're getting these out of the way.
What are your thoughts of Balloon Trip of Love?
All right, I haven't played it either.
I haven't played it either. Next.
This is like computer bloatware. Okay. We're getting them out of the way early.
How do you feel about Cadence of Hyrule?
Where is it? Here it is. I have not played it.
Me neither. Next. Okay.
Okay, now we have a real game.
Okay, we got a real game. Zelda 2.
We have a real game. I still haven't played this, but I have just decided that I'm going to add a second tier. I'm actually going to add a new tier.
Oh.
I'm going to call this one Dark Gray.
Okay.
This one, so I have unplayed. This one is won't play.
Okay.
And I'm going to put Tingle, Balloon, and Cadence of Hyrule in the won't play.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing.
You know. Okay, I'm about it.
Yeah.
I'm about that. You made it dark gray?
Yeah, I made it dark gray.
Oh god. Oh, I'm breaking things.
So.
How do I delete this row? Get rid of it. This one's gray. This one's dark gray. And we're calling it won't play. Okay? Valid. I approve.
Alright, just tell me about Adventure of Link.
No, this one's on you.
I haven't played it.
Oh yeah, you're right. Ah, Adventure of Link, huh? Listen, I've played this game once. I played it when I was like 10. I hated it. I hated this game. It was a 2D side-scroller RPG. And I hated it. I didn't follow the story. I remember one thing. I used a walkthrough for the whole game. I remember you needed to go talk to some random guy in some random village, and he was like, tell you the secrets of how to enter this temple or something. That being said, I do believe it has one of, if not the best, dungeon music in the entire franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So that is its only saving grace. And that is how I feel about Zelda 2.
Fair enough.
That is its only saving grace.
Alrighty.
Wow, okay.
The OG.
Wow, okay. All right, this one will be on you.
Okay, you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have also played Legend of Zelda, but I also have not finished it. I've done several temples. I think I've done at least 4 or 5. But I haven't finished it. This game is hard. Especially at the start when you're at 3 hearts. I mean, it gets easier when you have more hearts, and also skill issue. But when you're at 3 hearts, it does not take much to game over. One false step and you're done. And speedrunners know this. So I mean, it is rough. It is rough. The graphics were fine for 1985, but there is no way if I look at the quality of this game, there's no way I'm comparing this game to, Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom just looks so much better. Now, obviously, I don't care because I don't think graphics is what makes a game. But the gameplay itself is pretty rough. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's rough. I'm gonna put this game in D tier. I think this game was really good for its time, and I also think that this game brought a lot of elements into it, adventure and all that. That's really fun. But when I'm roaming Hyrule in this game versus when I'm roaming Hyrule in other games, I prefer to roam Hyrule in other games. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, it's the Hyrule part that's the, I mean, the majority, 99% of this game is roaming around Hyrule.
Right.
I say 99, really 90. The other 10% is the dungeons. But the dungeons are pretty fun. I like that I cannot in good conscience give this game an F tier. I love the dungeons of this game. I love the twists. I don't have a problem gaming over in a dungeon because, especially the early dungeons, because in Zelda early dungeons, like the first dungeon of a Zelda game, I feel like it's fairly normal if you are a mid player to get a game over when you have like 3 or 4 hearts in the first dungeon of a game, because the enemies sometimes there's a scaling issue there for the Nintendo games where the enemies hit pretty hard, but you haven't yet gotten good enough, or you haven't gotten your hearts up enough to kind of deal with that, and so they punish you pretty good. You can die in like 1 or 2 hits in some of these. So Ocarina of Time is a good example of this. I think I gamed over in Ocarina of Time's first dungeon in the Kid Temple.
I think you did.
I think I definitely gamed over it several times in Legend of Zelda's first temple, and the second, and the third,
and the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth, and the seventh, and the eighth.
I probably gamed over it once or twice in the Forest Temple of Twilight Princess. I didn't game over in the first Temple of Breath of the Wild, but the Breath of the Wild temples are...
There's no real first.
Yeah, they're not really a problem.
Yeah.
So, I would give this a D tier.
Okay. I am going to give the game a C tier.
Okay.
I think that it's very open world, which is extremely unique for such an old game. And the combat is very hard. This game is very hard. I think this game has some very good secrets that you would never find unless you played the game or used the walkthrough.
The secrets are well hidden.
The secrets are very well hidden. I like that this game gave, the single most iconic song of the franchise. And I like the temples. I like the dungeons. I also like that they're all uniquely shaped. That's very interesting. The map, when it's all filled in, is a shape of a creature or something, an object.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very unique. I liked that. It was very cool.
Yeah.
In reality, would I rather play it over Spirit Tracks? Probably not. But it is the single game that spawned everything. I don't feel like it's fair to put it
below average,
anywhere lower than right in the middle.
Sure.
Since it is the measuring stick.
I actually think that putting it below average for me is less a harp on the OG and more of a testament to how good Nintendo did with later sequels.
Fair.
Saying that they went from better to best.
Fair. Valid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna put mine in C tier.
Sure.
All right, let's give it another go. What are we getting? Tears of the Kingdom. Wow. Okay.
Last second.
Wow. Okay. Last second switch to Tears of the Kingdom. Which is where exactly? Ah. So, Tears of the Kingdom. I will be the first one to say that I liked Tears of the Kingdom, but I will also be the first one to say that I do not think it was as good as Breath of the Wild.
I concur with that.
At this point in time, the game has been out since May of 2023. It's been a year and a half. I have not 100%ed it. Whereas with Breath of the Wild, I would have already 100%ed it twice by now. I think this game is visually stunning. I think this game's version of Ganondorf is probably the coolest one we've ever seen. I think the whole story with Zelda time traveling and the Zonai, I think it's very fascinating. You and I just discussed the other day, this one has the best final boss of any game ever. And that being said, I'm still going to put it below Breath of the Wild because to me, while it does feel like a different game, it feels more like a DLC of Breath of the Wild. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I am going to take Tears of the Kingdom and I'm going to put it in B.
Okay.
I'm going to take Tears of the Kingdom and put it in B. I've changed my mind. I'm putting it in A because the depths is my favorite place in the game. So I'm going to put it in A.
Fair enough. Okay. So I agree with the sentiment that I think Breath of the Wild is a better game. This game came out over a year ago, and yet I've made an attempt to 100% the game, and I started a new save file and all that, but I actually, in that time, started a new save file with Breath of the Wild as well.
Really?
And I have, on the side, I've been playing a challenge run of Breath of the Wild. And in the last 6 months, I have played more Breath of the Wild than I have Tears of the Kingdom. Despite the fact that Tears of the Kingdom is newer, fresher, and has content I still have not done.
Same.
Versus everything I'm doing in the Breath of the Wild, like I 100% of that game. So, I have done everything in that game. And somehow, I'm playing it more. I was playing it a couple days ago on the weekend.
There you go.
On Saturday. So, there it is.
I don't think they made the game different enough from Breath of the Wild.
Sure. I don't think that Tears of the Kingdom goes in the same tier as Ocarina of Time. I also don't think it goes in the same tier as Spirit Tracks.
I agree.
So I'm gonna put it in, where is it? Oh, it's not over here. I'm gonna put it in B tier. I think that Tears of the Kingdom is a good game. I give this game a thumbs up, much like I do all of these actually. I have not yet given a thumbs down to any of these games, but I might give it Adventure of Link a thumbs down if I ever play it.
Right.
But,
I did.
Right. But I liked Tears of the Kingdom. I think the music in this game is so good. I think it's so good. The saxophone.
Yeah.
The brass. The reversed choir in some of the Ganondorf stuff.
Yes.
The reversed choir is amazing. New, novel. I've never seen that before. the piano is the same, just like Breath of the Wild. So really any points to the piano should go to Breath of the Wild. Anyway, long story short, the music in this game is great.
It is.
It's up there with the greats. It's up there with Ocarina of Time in terms of the music. It's up there with Majora's Mask in terms of the music. Twilight Princess. I think the Breath of the Wild music actually is severely lacking because we have to talk about these two almost as a pair, if you will, because they are a pair, just like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time are a pair.
Right.
Regarding Breath of the Wild, I think the music in that game is lacking in most places because that was like intentional game design when they made it. Of like we wanted to feel lonely, isolated, and so they didn't put very many banger tracks in there. When you compare it to like Ocarina of Time, like every track is a banger.
Right.
There are dubstep remixes on YouTube for every track of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I don't know that I can think of I can't think of a single song in Breath of the Wild right now and start singing it.
Yes.
Not one.
Only like the occasional like motifs of the piano as you're walking through the fields.
Yeah, that's all I can think of too.
But or maybe the combat theme when it first starts up. Dum dum.
I'll tell you what I can think of. I can think of the Guardian theme.
Sure. Yeah. So it's got some stuff, but
it's not as
Guardian
good.
theme. Yeah. Compare this to Twilight Princess. Compare this to Ocarina of Time. Compare it to Majora's Mask. The Guardian theme is great, but that's all it has.
I agree.
Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask has Oath to Order, like the Calling of the Giants.
What a song!
And it also has Clock Town, and it also has the Song of Healing. Breath of the Wild has Guardian theme.
It does. We're talking about the wrong game right now.
We're not talking about the wrong game. Anyway, Tears of the Kingdom has some really good stuff in terms of music.
It does.
The graphics. This is the best looking Zelda game that they've made so far. So but again, I don't really grade these things on the graphics. And also, it's only the best because it's the newest, and it'll be supplanted later. At least I hope it does. This better not be peak graphics.
I sure hope not.
But unless they want to like go to like a cartoonish style permanently, which I wouldn't be mad at. I'd be fine with,
That'd be interesting.
Anyway, yeah, it would be interesting. Anyway, I think this is a B tier game. I think 80% is a worthy grade of this game. You mentioned the depths. Regarding the depths, yeah, I really like the depths, but in my 100% playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom, there is so much depth that I'm actually tired of it. Yeah, I've actually, maybe that's like first world problems, but spoiled for choice, if you will. My favorite area of Tears of the Kingdom is the sky. I love the sky. I think the sky is so cool. The first dungeon of this game, comparing the dungeons of this game to Breath of the Wild this is a major improvement.
Definitely.
The dungeons of Tears of the Kingdom were so much better than Breath of the Wild.
So much better. Every single one.
Yeah, and the first dungeon that I did, which was the Wind Temple, and I think this is the first dungeon most people did. A great dungeon. The lead up to that dungeon
was really good.
Where you're jumping on the sails and flying and like jumping and getting shot up, and you have Tulin with you, and the violin music is like climbing with you as you ascend up to the Stormwind Arc.
Yeah, I thought it was the best one.
That whole sequence is my favorite of all Zelda games. That is my favorite pre-dungeon trial.
Wow.
It is my favorite pre-dungeon section. I love that section. It's so cinematic and it's fun. It's just fun.
Yeah, I had a great time doing it.
Yeah. So I would give this a B tier. This is a good game.
Okay. Moving on.
All right. My wife is on the way home, by the way.
Oh, we're not going to finish then.
Phantom?
Phantom Hourglass.
Phantom. Okay, I'm okay. Why don't we remember this come back to it another time when she comes in.
Sure.
I'd love to do a part 2 on this.
Sure.
All right, am I first?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're first on this one.
Okay. So, Phantom Hourglass. This was, I believe, the second Zelda that I completed after Twilight Princess. Phantom Hourglass, I'm pretty sure I beat Twilight Princess first. Yeah, pretty sure. This game was great for the time. It was. I haven't played it again since the first time I played it when I was a kid. So I've only played it once, and I was playing it when I was a kid. But I was the target audience for this game when it came out, and so from my perspective, I think it's quite valid. And I really enjoyed this game when I was a kid. I thought it was so stinking fun. A lot of the pirate theme, the ghost ship, was really cool. There was a whole thing about the fairy in this game, which was your cursor, and there was like this subplot that she, like, in the third dungeon, I can't believe I remember this. In the third dungeon, you beat the boss, and you're supposed to get this fairy pop out, but it's like this soulless fairy that like doesn't talk or do anything, and then that's when your fairy realizes, oh, this is like my other half, and then she merges, and then you get a new super fairy. I thought that was a great little plot thing. I can't believe I remember that.
Honestly, I can't believe you remember that either.
Yeah, you probably didn't remember it, I'm guessing.
I didn't remember it until you started talking about it, but I mean, I knew it, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you the exact sequence until you started to talk about it.
My favorite dungeon in all of Zelda is in this game, and that's the Temple of the Ocean King. The Temple of the Ocean King, can you really even call it a dungeon? It's more of a super dungeon, because you keep coming back to it over and over again throughout the story.
You do.
When I played this as a kid, I probably made 30 trips to this dungeon. Now, I imagine that if you were to play this as an adult, you probably only need to make like 5. But that's what I did. And I loved that. I loved the concept of the Phantom Hourglass. The idea that you're taking what do they call it? You're just taking damage, like, just by being there, unless you're in the safe zone.
Yeah.
But so there's so many puzzles to do with that, and they add this Phantom Hourglass, which is the main item of the game and the namesake. Which the whole point of it is, it prevents you from taking damage for a certain period of time, but that period of time can expire, and so you're kind of on a time crunch, and you're trying to minimax for all of that because you're in a situation where it's like, okay, there's like 40 or 50 floors on this thing, and I can do it in a shortcut, but if I do it, then if I do the shortcut, and I just warp to the bottom, then it just saves my progress for that time, which, might be like 5 minutes left, so I have like 5 minutes left to do 10 floors before I start taking damage. So you kind of have to like weigh that and be like, okay, well, I'm going to redo all of those floors so I can get a better time, so that when I go down to those final 10 floors, instead of having 5 minutes to do everything, I have like 20 minutes to do everything.
Yeah.
So, and you kind of speed run through it. So it gives you an incentive to kind of go backtrack over all your stuff. Not to mention, I really like this. I really like the concept of going into a place and then running through a dangerous area you've already been through, and making that area, like, finding more and more successive things beyond where you last left off. It's almost like this. It's almost as if somebody at Nintendo said, "What if we took the Cave of Trials and made it into a dungeon, where you in order to get to floor 50, you have to go through floor 49 and floor 38 and floor 15 and floor number 1. You have to do all that stuff over again. Now, of course, they also add the mechanic of, you can skip a lot of floors. You skip lots of floors later on. But anyway, I just really like this mechanic. And the safe zones are really cool because it allows you to take a breather and kind of reassess what you're doing and where you're going. And so it makes the floor a puzzle. And every floor is a puzzle. And the puzzle is about navigating to the stairs to go to the next floor. And I just think it was a fun temple. So that's my favorite temple of any game. Tower of the Gods from Spirit Tracks has kind of the same thing going on, but I don't think they did it as well because Temple of the Ocean King was a brand new concept, and there was just more floors than in Tower of the Gods. And there was more puzzles, and there was more to do. Also, that maybe there was a fact that when I played Spirit Tracks, because the game came out later, I was older by then, and so my brain was better. And so maybe I just solved the puzzles faster. I don't know.
I do think that game was easier.
I'm getting a phone call from my wife. I need to give you a second.
Okay. Well, I guess.
Hello, are you there?
Hi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, it is time for me to let you go.
Well, you got to rank Phantom Hourglass first.
Okay, I'm going to rank it B tier with Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
Where is it?
It's in your on deck.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, are you going to rank it above or below Tears of the Kingdom?
Below.
Okay, so that's where you're going to leave it?
Yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
I got to let you go.
All right, I will not rank mine then.
All right, when we reconvene on this, perhaps this weekend, or tomorrow, or whenever we're free,
Sure.
we will pick it back where we left off with your ranking of Phantom Hourglass.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see you later.
All right, bye.